Let me tell you something. The reason why I be telling y'all not to trip about these men and whatnot is because I I work in the healthcare field. I've been in the healthcare field since I was 18 years old. They're dying alone. They're dying alone. The women that's in these places, their daughters are coming and bringing them to the nail shops, getting their hair done, coming to see them every 2 weeks. You better ask somebody. I am the one who is right there when some of these men are taking their last breath. I have cleaned so many dead bodies, and guess what? Nobody showed up for them. Not their kids, not their wives, not their grandkids. Nobody came for them because why? They were not good men while they were alive. They're gonna continue dying alone. That's why I tell y'all don't trip. I'm physically seeing it on a daily basis, watching them all go by themselves. And this is their grandpas that they're talking about. These are the men that they're talking about. This is their grandpas that's dying alone. And it's going to be them. That's just the reality of shit. That's why I don't be worried about these men talking, because baby, I watch y'all every day go by yourselves with nobody on y'all side.
Wow. You know what? That goes into much of what it is that we was just talking about from the last video. They want to be hunters and predators, always on the prowl. They want to have a good woman who loves him and provides a house, a home, and children for him, but he still want to be out there in the street hunting. Keep on hunting. Keep on hunting, because the children that you ignored one day are going to ignore you one day. The children you didn't care for one day ain't gonna care for you one day. And the woman who you left for something that you thought that you could get better, she gonna leave you for something that she feels that she can get better. And the cycle continues. The difference is that the children are the future, and far too many of these men are not there for their children. And children don't stay small forever. It's like these people are short-sighted. This is the fruit of your loins. You're not caring for your children either. You're not building stable relationships with other human beings that are deep, in depth, and have emotional, nutritional value for the both of you. I played a segment on this show where a man was like, "We not women. We have our friends to get away from being support." Okay. So then you go there, you just sit around, playing your video games, not really talking to one another, not being support for one another. And then you see, he'll be in one room in some hospice, you'll be in another one somewhere else, and you won't know where each other are because you never even had contact information for them. You just met up on occasion whenever, when worst came to worst, you don't even know where they are. They don't know where you're at. And he's in a home somewhere, you in a home somewhere. You never had a good friendship when you were young. Now you dying in separate hospice cares alone. I don't know what else to say about this. How many more nurses, how many more hospice care workers, how many more of these people in the health field do we have to have come out and say that these men are dying alone? But they're in denial. You'll see them in the comments. They're in denial about what is truly happening, and they'll start screaming out, "Better get yourself a cat." All right. So, okay. At least you'll be caring for an animal. At least she'll have community around her. So when she puts down her little cat feed, she'll go out to the bingo hall. She'll go out on her cruise. How many of you know old women and what these old women are doing with their lives? And how many of you know old men and what the old men are doing with their lives? I don't need to see none of it. I didn't see this when what I need to go to China for? What I need to do this for? Them Chinese people ain't never deal. No. All right, fine. Just sit here then. Sit here. You don't want to go walking. You don't want to go strolling. You don't want to meet new friends. You don't want to meet up at your college or high school reunions. You don't want to go back to your hometown. You don't want to go to someone's porch and visit with them. You don't want to do none of that. All right, fine. So just sit there then. Sit there. All of the old women that I know are active. Let me think. Well, I don't know her. She's a friend of the family, but sadly enough, she has a son. Her son don't come and see about her. She developed late stage MS or something along those lines. And now she's wheelchair bound and she's not doing well. But she had a child, she had a son, and her son ain't there for her. She's all alone. So ain't no guarantee. Ain't no guarantee. So she is somebody who Man, unfortunately, because she's not, that's an interesting one. But yeah, all of the other old ladies that I know, they out there living their lives. They taking food to people. They're hanging out with their friends. They're taking care of other older people, and they have community around them. She's the only one. And I wonder what happened with her. I think she spent a tremendous part of her younger days trying to be with unavailable men. And then she ended up, like, remember that game from when we were young? What was the name of the game? It would be 3 chairs, and you'd have to walk round and round in a circle playing music. And then when the music would stop, they pull one of the chairs out, and 3 people would have to try to find a seat on 2 seats. And one person would get left standing out. I think what happened is she spent her younger days kind of with unavailable men, not really, I don't know, maybe she didn't form good friendships with women. I mean, listen, I'm not going to say much about what it is that I'm doing, but there are archetypes of different women and how we show up in ways that are not loving to ourselves. But the women who love themselves, like, there are different reasons why there are women who are choosing to get cats and dogs. Women, we are naturally more communal, but not every woman is. Let this story be a wake-up call to you about spending your youth and your youthful years wisely with people who honor and care for your presence, because there is no guarantee that any of your children will care for you. If you have daughters, they're more likely. But with sons, from what it is that I'm hearing from hospice care people, sons don't do it. If the son has a wife, then the wife will participate in your care if you're older and you can't care for yourself. But other than that, boys are a bad gamble. It's like time and time again, we just keep hearing more and more stories about how it is that they are showing up or not showing up. And listen, I don't know what else to say. Just continue to do your thing. Find community. Love yourself enough to be vulnerable enough to make friends with other women. Love yourself enough to cut off these endeavors with men that are not fruitful, because they, as they're saying, are staying out on the prowl even when they're in relationship with you. You got to be you have to wisen up enough to know that nothing is guaranteed. Who's going to be there for you when you're old? If you develop some late stage dis-ease, who's going to be there for you? Do you have healthy friendships with other women? Because from what it is that I'm hearing, the friendships with men are not really panning out for men or women.
Be a part of the live show with thousands of other viewers. Go to TanyaTKO.com/text and join the text notification squad and get a text whenever I go live. Support the show.